If I were to get back into music composition and only had 2 hours a week, this is what I would do. Step one, I would get some software, and that is a DAW or a music notation program. Whatever you already have, use that because it will get the job done. Now, if you don't have any software, then I recommend you jump into MuseScore. I'm not affiliated with them. I'm not getting anything for mentioning that. It is really just a wonderful option if you don't want to invest anything into new software, a new piece of software, and that is the best solution for this. Now, let me tell you that all of these programs usually have the option to exchange data via MIDI files or music XML files. So in the end, it won't really matter what you use. You can move your compositions around from one platform to the next. Now, if you asked what I use personally, I'm using Sibelius for my compositions, and for the production, I use Cubase Pro. And I've seen a lot of composers inside the circle of interval magicians use Dorico, Logic, even some of them use MuseScore. So it's all in there, which just shows again that the software is actually not that important. It will be your skills actually that are way more important. And in production later, we always blend audio and MIDI. That is why a DAW actually makes sense, right? Because we want to import some audio files, maybe some additional tracks like live recordings, guitars, vocals, whatever you have. And we want to beef up the orchestrations with different sound sources. Now you might ask, why not just stay inside the DAW? And that's a good question. The big point for me is, and that is just talking out of experience here, being a professional composer for almost 2 decades now, the focus in the DAW, no matter what you use, is usually not set on music notation. It is on the production, which is fantastic, right? But if you want to create some good-looking scores that can be used professionally, I'm almost sure that you won't be happy with any of the DAWs. And that is already the point that brings me actually to recording sessions with live musicians. They are used to seeing sheet paper and reading music notation. That is the language they speak, and that is the language you want to communicate with them. So that again speaks for having a proper music notation program. And the composition usually does not equal the production. They are two different things. You might have heard the saying already, we will fix it in the mix. Usually that doesn't work that easily because a problem in the composition will only be amplified through the production. And this way you make the problem actually bigger in the later chain of steps. So I highly recommend you get your composition skills in order and to a level that you don't create any problems for the other people involved in the process, namely the mixing engineer and the music producer. So get the foundation done right, and then nobody has to fix anything in the mix. Step number 2 is refreshing or learning the basics of music theory. And I want to be clear, it's really just the basics. We don't have to go very deep here. I would actually just boil it down to being able to read the treble clef and the bass clef. If you don't know how to do this, then this is really stuff that you can quickly Google or use AI. And I want to give you a quick prompt that might be very helpful here. So I'm a complete beginner, and you can replace that with whatever you are. And I want to learn how to read music notation, starting with the treble clef and bass clef. Please teach me step by step in very simple language, using clear examples. Give me small exercises I can practice each day, like naming notes or short quizzes. and show me visual references for where the notes sit on the staff. Assume I want to learn like a piano player who needs to read both clefs. Also, please build the lessons progressively so I don't get overwhelmed. And with this knowledge, you can really jump right in and get those skills done. From here, I would just narrow it down to a few points that I think are crucial. The first thing is the 7 main modes. And here you're seeing the emotional order, which moves from the brightest of the church modes to the darkest. And if you want to see me push a composition through all of those modes, one after another, then I will link to a video that actually does exactly this. You will find it in the description below. Now, from there, let's talk quickly about the circle of fifths. And this is another rabbit hole that potentially can keep you busy forever. That is why I would just narrow it down to essentially 3 things. Make sure you understand what authentic cadences are, what plagal cadences are, and what the relative minor keys are. If you can explain those 3 points in your own words, you're good to go. You're pretty much understanding most of the chord progressions that are used in Western music. And that is totally sufficient for the next step, which is actually the most important step to me. And that is jump into composing music as early as possible. Now, this is the moment where you might want to get interested in reading a lot of information about composition, which is not bad. However, reading thick textbooks or even watching long YouTube videos about music composition might feel productive, but in the end, it just holds you back from doing the real thing, which is compose some damn music. So I highly recommend, if you want to see quick results, start composing early. And I want to actually give you a quick win in that context. I compiled a free download for you, which I call 5 spells every composer needs. And that is a free guide that shows you 5 composition techniques that are unique because they are based on interval magic. That is why I'm calling them spells. In there, you will find some video footage and a lot of audio examples and all the explanation in form of a downloadable PDF. So grab this thing. I'm sure that this will help you move forward. Actually, I want to show you a possible result that comes out of the first spell, which is the scaling technique, scaling of triads, in fact. And this is what it can sound like. Let's talk about step number 4, which is getting feedback and support. I have seen that obviously the best way to move forward and the most efficient way to do this is by having a personal mentor by your side. Now, this usually goes hand in hand with a higher investment. And this is probably not possible for everybody out there, which I totally understand. So therefore, you want to balance 2 things, which is the most efficient way you move forward and get to results and managing your finances. For that purpose, we have the Circle of Interval Magicians, which is a group of composers, professionals and amateurs who share their knowledge, who are all on the same path, who are very supportive. And this is the environment that will help you grow quickly. Quick disclaimer, I run the Circle of Interval Magicians, and I show up in that community daily to help the members move forward and give feedback and try to be as supportive as possible. So wherever you are on your personal journey, I hope that this map already helps you move closer to your goal. It's a quick 4-step plan, and I'm pretty sure you can solve number 1 and 2 on your own. But if you need help and support with number 3 and number 4, I'm here to help. Your music doesn't need more theory. It actually needs more magic.